Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. On behalf of the News First, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this evening.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa addresses the Boa Forum chaired by Chinese President. President Rajapaksa requests foreign leaders to make Sri Lanka a destination for investment. Decision taken to suspend all May Day rallies. Fundamental rights petition filed at the Supreme Court against State Minister Ajit Nivard Kabral and PB Jayasundara for alleged misappropriation of more than 23 billion rupees of public funds. What is happening to the Sri Lankan rupee against the US dollar? Interbank rates over 200 rupees, while the CBSL rates indicate 195 rupees.
On to your top story. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa addressed the Boa Forum for Asia virtually today. The headquarters of the Boa Forum, which is a non-profit organization, is located in Beijing, China.
Initiated by 25 Asian countries and Australia, the Boa Forum for Asia, also known as BFA, is a non-profit organization that hosts high-level forums for leaders from governments, business and academia in Asia and other continents to share their vision on the most pressing issues in this dynamic region and the world at large.
Through centuries of rich history, Sri Lanka and China share a strong strategic collaborative partnership based on mutual respect, trust and cooperation. I appreciate the support rendered by His Excellency Xi Jinping and the Government of China to Sri Lanka in vital areas of Sri Lanka's well-being. Sri Lanka maintains a clear and vibrant foreign policy that seeks enhanced cooperation with all friendly nations and in particular its Asian neighbors on equal and non-aligned terms. Maintaining a fair balance between national policies and international shared policies, norms and rules is essential. The sovereignty of independent states should in no way be undermined in the maintaining of this balance. We do not seek to borrow, but to encourage investments. We have developed attractive policies for foreign direct investments, including a favorable tax structure and other incentives. We seek the support of the governments of member countries of the Boa Forum to encourage more businesses from their countries to consider Sri Lanka as a destination for their investment. We particularly seek to attract investments in export-oriented industries that will have a beneficial impact on our economy.
Jana Balawege MP Harin Fernando made another revelation on the April 21st attacks in Parliament today. A debate ensued in Parliament following the statements made by the MP.
ශානි අබේසේකර කියන CID බාර හිටපු නිලධාරීතුමා IP ඇඩ්‍රස් එක හරහා ගියාට පස්සේ කවුද සාකච්ඡා කරේ කියලා හවුවෙන්නේ ලංකාවේ බුද්ධියන්සේ නිලධාරියෙක්.
Shani Abesekar was the former director of the CID. An official attached to the Sri Lankan intelligence units have been found to have held discussions when the IP addresses were traced. That evidence did not come out. The evidence claims as to when that intelligence unit official was arrested, the Sri Lanka Army Intelligence Unit has come forward and taken him away, citing that it is their project. 4 directors at the CID have been transferred as of now. They are
නන්ටික කියන්නේ SP ජයසිංහ තිසේරා ලොකු හෙට්ටි කලනසිරි රංජිත් වෙදසිංහ SP ලාවන නුවන් අසංක WB දර්ශිකා කුමාරි WCI හෙල්ල උඩගේ WCI නිරෝෂිනී හේවාපදරන WCI දීපානි මැණිකේ Chief Inspector කීර්තිසිංහ ඇල්ලපොළ විජයතුංග මේ නිලධාරි ඔක්කොම මාරු කරා. මේ මිනිස්සු තමයි CID පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය ගැන පරීක්ෂණ කරේ.
All these officials have been transferred. These are the people who carried out the CID investigations on the April 21st attacks. Why are they hiding this? There was another person named Matale Saharan. He was known as Little Saharan. Things were communicated to him using the code Sonic. This was in the statement provided by the OIC in charge of the digital forensics, CI Senaratne, to the Presidential Commission. The other person who provided the statement was CI Kirti Singha. He is the person behind the arrest of Matale Saharan. Naufar Maulavi is also in custody. He is known as the mastermind behind the April 21st attacks. But the Presidential Commission did not record a statement from either of these individuals. But he is deemed as the mastermind behind the attacks. Who are they spreading these lies to? Why weren't these statements that were provided before the Presidential Commission made public? I have the list of people who provided evidence before the Presidential Commission. Are you afraid of the revelation of these acts?
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේ දඟලන මිනිස්සුම මම මේමම ලයිව් එකක් අල්ලනවා මෙන්න ලංකාවේ මිනිසුන්ට පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයෙන් මිනි මරපු හොරු ටික ඇසිරෙන හැටි බය නැතුව කියනවා අද මේ බුද්ධියන්සේ පාලනය කරන්නේ ආණ්ඩුවට ඕන එක තනි මිනිහෙක් ඒ මිනිහා තමයි ඊයේ පෙරේදා නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට යන්න ඕනේ CID නිලධාරි පරීක්ෂණ කරපු නිලධාරි හැබැයි ඒ පරීක්ෂණ කරපු නිලධාරි වෙනුවෙන් ඒ මිනිස්සු නෙමෙයි යන්නේ එකම එක ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ නියෝජිතයෙක් කෙනෙක්ව මතක තියාගන්න. ඒ මිනිස්සයා තමයි මහා මොලකාරයා කවුද කියලා හොයාගන්න ඕන නම් මහා මොලකාරයා ඒ මිනිහයි කියන එක මතක තියාගන්න. මේ සාරා කොහෙද ඉන්නේ?
Where is Sarah? Who is she with? Whose vehicle did she travel in? We will reveal all of that. If you are fierce enough and have a backbone, listen to these. Sarah was taken on a motorbicycle that belonged to an OIC.
OIC මහත්තයාගේ බයිසිකලේ එයාගේ තාත්තා කියන දේ එයා හරියට ඇහුවා නම් ඒ පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට නිකන් වැලියට පාගිච්ච වගේ ආපු ගොංගතා කියනවා.
යෝජක කතානායකතුමනි මේ හරිය ප්‍රධාන පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා අපේ මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට අපහාස විදිහට කතා කරනවා. සත්තුන්ගේ නම් කියලා පරුස වචන කියනවා. මෙයා මේ පාස්කු දවසේ මිනිස්සු 300ක් මැරලා හිටිය මිනිස්සයා.
මම සමාව ඉල්ලනවා බූරුවෙට්ට බූරුවෙක් කියවපු එක ගැන. ඒ නිසා මම එහෙම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් සතෙට්ට අවමන් කරන්නේ නැහැ. සත්තු හොඳයි මුන්ට වඩා. පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය කරන්න ඉඩ ඇරලා.
The person who let hundreds die and hundreds sustain injuries is asking us as to who is the mastermind behind the April 21st attacks. The same people who robbed the central bank, the same people who sent the culprits of the bond scam overseas are asking us whether we arrested the mastermind of the bond scam. Who destroyed all evidence that led us to Zaharan? It was your government who were waiting till we came into power after the April 21st attacks. The then IGP was appointed by your government. But why didn't you arrest anyone back then? He said arrests could have been made tracing the IP addresses. What were you doing for 6 months?
යකෝ මාසාය බම්බු කෑවද අල්ලගන්න නැතුව දැන් ඇවිල්ලා බොරු කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි ඇල්ලුවේ නැත්තේ? ඇයි ජරාව ගත්තද? ඇයි පගාව ගත්තද? ඒ මිනිස්සුන්ගෙන් තමුන්නාන්සේ බේරුණාට උන්ට සන්තෝෂම් වශයෙන් ඒක අල්ලන්න නැතුව ඉන්න කිව්වද? ලැජ්ජ තියනද තමුන්නාන්සේට?
Don't lie now. Why didn't you arrest them? Did you take bribes? Did you tell them not to do it because you were saved from the attacks? If you are ashamed, please do not speak about the April 21st attacks from today onwards when I'm in Parliament. If there is a mastermind behind the attacks, we are doing the best we can to arrest that person. We cannot proceed with that because we cannot locate Saharan's laptop computer. It was the good governance government that destroyed all the evidence.
ලන්න තමයි අපි සියලු උත්සාහය දාන්නේ. අපිට ඒක කරගන්න බැරි අපහසුතාවයක් තියෙනවා. මොකද සාරාංගේ ලැප්ටොප් එක අද හොයාගන්න බෑ. මේ මාසාවේ යාපාල ආණ්ඩුව තමයි හිටියේ සාක්කියෝ. තාජ් සමුද්‍රා හෝටලේ බෝම්බේ පුපුරා ගත්තේ ජමීල් කියලා පුද්ගලයෙක්.
The Taj Samudra bomber's name was Jamil. He was not able to detonate the bomb. The bomb exploded in a lodge in Dehiwala at the Tropical Inn. Before the bomb was detonated, 2 officers of the intelligence and the TID had gone to the house of this bomber. If that is the case, they go there because our intelligence officers are aware that this person, Jamil, would get involved in the bombing. This is not something that I am revealing. This is said by IGP Pooja Jayasundara. The second point is this. When the person who was traced to the IP address was arrested and brought to the CID by Shania Besekara, the military intelligence arrives there and takes this person out, claiming that this is one of their operations. Does this report include the details and findings of this particular agent? What was he able to investigate and uncover about Saharan? And what connection did he have with them? Were these matters investigated? An intelligence agent identified by the code name Sonic had gone to meet with the person who arrived from Qatar known as Matale Saharan. He had asked him why isn't al-Baghdadi accepting the claim for this attack. He had replied that the pledge they made had not been released yet. Then a call is made to Indonesia from that location. That is when the message is delivered. They reply, "We will upload it." The agent Sonic was informed that this would get uploaded. That is when the ISIS leader claimed the responsibility for the attack. IP Arjuna Mahinkanda has explained to the police while providing evidence that Sara is alive and that he can provide clear evidence that she has travelled to India by sea. He has informed this to the Commission, but after making this statement to the Commission, Minister Sarath Weerasekara says that there is no clear information about Sara. Why are the details about Sara being swept under the carpet? The Commission report was handed over to the AG. The police usually go before the AG to provide the required support. We have information that a certain person heading the intelligence visits the Attorney General when this matter is being discussed.
මේ සාකච්ඡාව තියෙන වෙලාවටත් යනවයි කියන ආරංචිය තියෙනවා.
මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව එතුමා නොමගෑවනවා. එතුමාට මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න පුළුවන් අභියෝග කරනවා. මේ කතාව ගිහිල්ලා ප්‍රෙස් එකක් තියලා එළිය කියන්න. නැත්නම් ගිහලා CID එකේ පැමිණිල්ලක් කරන්න. පාර්ලිමේන්තු වරප්‍රසාද වලට හැංගිලා මඩ ගහන්න හදන්න පුළුවන් නම් කරන්න. එළිය කියලා ප්‍රකාශය.
මේ සියලු කාරණා.
All this has been revealed before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. They have not made it to the report. When the media was removed from the Commission proceedings, these matters were revealed at the Commission. There were lawyers present there at the time. There is a serious question. Why are things being concealed? Why were these things not revealed? The FBI found out that these people communicate using an app called Threema. Based on the information that was revealed through this, a conversation came to light. It says we cannot delay this. We must do this fast. The boss is unhappy and the boss has asked that we do this fast. Who is this boss?
මේ කියන බොස් කවුද?
මැරිච්ච මිනිස්සුන්ට සාධාරණත් ඊට කරන්න මෙයාගෙන පැමිණි කරන්න කියලා තමයි මම ඉතාමත් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලන්නේ.
මේ අද දවසේදී ඉදිරිපත් කරපු කාරණා කිසිවක්
None of the matters that I revealed today was discovered by us. All this was found by the CID of the Sri Lanka police and they have made submissions to the Presidential Commission on the Easter attack. I do not need to go again before the CID and make a complaint. All these details are available.
කිරීමේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ. මේක තියෙනවා.
The Attorney General filed 21 indictments at the Kegalle High Court today against 16 members of the National Tawhid Jamaat and their supporters in connection to an incident where Buddha statues in Mavanalla were vandalized.
ගරු නීතිපතිතුමාගේ තීරණය අනුව
The Attorney General has decided to file indictments against those responsible for the string of chaotic events which commenced from Mavanalla on December 26, 2018 and on the 16th of January 2019 over the discovery of explosives from lactose water in Wanathavilluwa. Further, 2 indictments have been filed over the explosives test carried out by Zaharan and his aides on the 16th of April 2019 in Kartankudi. Moreover, 8 indictments will be filed over the attacks carried out on the 21st of April 2019 and has requested the Chief Justice to appoint a trial at bar to examine the case. Furthermore, the Attorney General has also decided to file indictments over those responsible for the explosion which occurred in Saindamaradu on the 26th of April 2019.
ගරු නීතිපතිතුමා අදහස් කරන බවට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී දන්වා සිටිනවා.
Several senior members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party met at the party headquarters this morning. They discussed about the May Day rally and their future plans.
Following the discussions, Chairman of the party, former President Maithripala Sirisena, expressing views to the media, said the SLFP May Day celebration will be held separately in Colombo.
The working committee of the party and everyone in the parliamentary group decided that the May Day rally of the SLFP must be held. Accordingly, we are preparing to conduct our May Day rally in Colombo. If we look back at the history of the SLFP, it is our party that fought for the fundamental rights of the working people, farmers and other workers, including all kinds of oppressed people.
මූලික වශයෙන්ම සිය අයිතිවාසිකම් ලබා දුන්නේ වරප්‍රසාද ලබා දුන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ ඉතිහාසය තුල.
Minister Vasudeva Nanayakkara also stated to the media yesterday following the cabinet meeting that the Communist Party and the Sama Samaja Party will be organising their May Day rally separately as well. Meanwhile, a discussion was held at the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19 outbreak with the participation of representatives of various political parties. It was decided at the meeting to not hold any May Day rallies on the 1st of May.
Considering the circumstances, the opinion of most people is that the rally should not be held. This is the opinion of the doctors. If you take a decision that you are having a rally, it is definitely one taken with a great risk involved. We had a decision with the party representatives and representatives of trade unions. We made a decision to not hold any rally or festival with regard to the May Day. We made a unanimous decision to which even representatives of party leaders agreed to.
Yesterday, the DIG of the Western Province called on all the party representatives and held a meeting at the DIG office regarding the reservation of grounds for the May Day rallies. Officials from the Municipal Council as well as party representatives joined the discussion. In addition to reserving grounds for the rallies, we received a call from the Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19 Outbreaks saying they are having a meeting today to discuss the health guidelines to be followed during the organizing of May Day rallies. They requested us to send representatives for this meeting. Today, it has been decided at the meeting to not hold May Day rallies due to health concerns. We totally disagree with this decision to not hold May Day rallies. If health concerns are the reason for not holding May Day rallies in the country, there were many events in recent times which did not adhere to health guidelines. Especially for the discussion with the village program, thousands of members joined. Even for the Sinhala Tamil New Year, thousands of people moved around. The government is clearly attempting to cite false reasons and cancel the May Day rallies because they themselves are in a situation where they can't hold a rally due to the crisis they are facing. Most parties within the government are faced with the conundrum of which stage they should be getting up on. This is a clear violation of democracy. The government is using the COVID-19 pandemic to its advantage. The noose that they are tightening on us will be loosened when the need arises for them to hold elections. We saw the manner in which the pandemic was used in the past to oppose certain people. Their attempt is to navigate the country into a place where no demonstration or protest can be held hereafter.
Renuka Pereira, the Administrative Secretary of the SLPP, has decided to step down from his position as the Chairman of the National Housing Development Authority. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Renuka Pereira said he decided to step down due to influence and pressure from the subject State Minister. Renuka Pereira said he was influenced on multiple occasions to appoint a person found guilty by an audit inquiry to the post of Acting Superintendent of the National Housing Development Authority, and he had not agreed to it. In his letter of resignation, Renuka Pereira said he informed the Prime Minister and Secretary of the same matter, adding that he resigned because he cannot with corrupt officials. The letter adds his decision to resign stems from the inability to work in hand with such corrupt officials. Copies of the letter of resignations were addressed to the Secretary, to the President's Secretary, the Ministry Secretary and Basil Rajapaksa. In more local news, President's Counsel Vijaydas Rajapaksa said that the government through the Port City Economic Commission Bill is seeking to do no less than what the LTTE attempted to do during the 30-year-old long civil war, which is to establish a separate state. He pointed out that the bill has made provisions that allows the port city to satisfy the criteria in the Montevideo Convention, and as such this special region could be recognized as a separate state.
President's Counsel Vijaydas Rajapaksa appeared on behalf of Venerable Muruttetwe Anandathera in a petition filed challenging the constitutionality of the Port City Economic Commission Bill. He pointed out that the commission proposed to be established by the bill is simply an auctioneer of the President, tasked with the sale or lease of land in the port city. President's Counsel Vijaydas Rajapaksa pointed out that the proposed bill would disrupt the entire legal system of the country. He pointed out that if the operation of the customs ordinance is suspended, the entry of banned substances and even nuclear weapons to the port city cannot be prevented. President's Counsel Vijaydas Rajapaksa said that this is a threat to national security and the sovereignty of the nation. Appearing on behalf of the General Secretary of the Bar Association, Rajiv Amarasuriya, President's Counsel Udita Egalaheva pointed out that sans any local governing body, the residents of the port city would be deprived of their franchise. He pointed out that this would be an infringement of Article 3 and Article 4 of the Constitution. He further pointed out that taxes and levies collected by the Port City Economic Commission are debited to a fund managed by the Commission itself and not the consolidated fund of the country. President's Counsel Egalaheva highlighted the fact that this is a violation of constitutional provisions that vests the full control of public finances with the Parliament of Sri Lanka. It was further submitted in court that the relevant parties were not consulted when this act was drafted. Appearing for the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, President's Counsel Salia Piris President's Counsel Ikram Mohammed pointed out that the bill does not pose any obstruction to all 7 members of the commission being foreign nationals. In such a situation, he questioned as to how much of an assurance can be given that these foreigners would work for the national interests of Sri Lanka.
Rakita Rajapaksa, the son of MP Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, who was arrested this evening over a motor accident, was released on a surety of 100,000 rupees. It is reported that the accident had taken place at about 10:30 p.m. last night. According to the police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana, the jeep driven by MP Vijayadasa Rajapaksa's son Rakita Rajapaksa had clashed with another vehicle and had injured 4 people. Rakita Rajapaksa had been arrested while he was receiving treatment and he was released on surety following an investigation carried out by the magistrate.
We intend to generate $15 billion in FDIs over the next 5 years from the highly sought after Port City project. Certain factions cannot accept this.
During our economics lessons in school, our teachers used to say free trade zones fail. That was back in the day. Free trade zones did not fail. A large portion of our economy relies on FTZs now. Sri Lanka must adopt newer models trending in the world in order to uplift our economy and to improve the livelihoods of the people.
The law within a free trade zone, and this is totally different. This reclaimed land, I personally feel, will give rise to issues for our successors in the future.
The draft bill was presented on the 8th. Only a period of 1 week has been allocated for us to go to court. After the 8th and the 9th, 5 days are holidays. We will only have 2 days to go to court. This was done intentionally by the government. Courts are on vacation. When such a draft is being presented, we are suspicious. There is something underneath it. Our request from all MPs is to subject this bill to Parliament scrutiny. Parliament bears the right to handle the finances of the nation. Port City cannot be abandoned, but we must make sure it is a beneficial project for us. Introduce a clause with a requirement to present its accounts to the COP and COPA annually. A number of superpowers have already condemned this as becoming a hub for money laundering. China has been given unlimited authority. No leader did such a thing. Do you believe this would be successful if India is displeased? India is the most powerful nation in the region.
It was black money which was first invested in Dubai and Singapore. That is how the first investments are done. We do not accept that, but certain legal protections should be given.
The audit report must be presented to Parliament and the President annually. I will ask one question. The BOI is under the Greater Colombo Economic Commission commenced by J.R. Jayawardena in 1978. None of the reports from corporations operating within FTCs are presented to Parliament or even COPE. Only the BOI report is presented. This is a similar matter. The Money Laundering Act has not been removed from the schedule, therefore it will be in effect.
The draft Port City Economic Commission bill has given rise to a broad discourse in the political sphere at present. According to the draft bill, who bears ownership of the Colombo Port City? This is the stance of the ruling faction. According to the Memorandum of Understanding signed in 2014, ownership of 67% of the land would be with Sri Lanka, while 33% would be with the construction company. However, since no action was taken in the period between 2015 and 2016, the company had called for the government to pay a fine of $125 million for delaying the construction. The government at the time had claimed that they do not have the funds to pay the fine and instead had agreed to cede 10% of the initial 67%, increasing the company's ownership to 43%. These talks had been held in an unofficial manner and were conducted by Malik Samaravikrama, partly Champika, Ranil Wickramasinghe and others. The land has been gazetted as a land falling under the purview of the number 120 Grama Seva division of the Colombo Fort.
චීනයේ සමාගමක් විසින් තමයි මේ මුහුද ගොඩ කරලා මේ වරාය නගරේ ගොඩනැගුවේ.
It was a Chinese company which reclaimed land from the sea and developed the port city. A total investment of $1,400 billion was required for that task. Since we were bound to hand over a portion of the land for that investment, it was handed over on a 99-year lease. 43% of the total land area has been handed over to them on lease. That is all what China has. They can bring in investors for the land they own, but the rest of the land belongs to Sri Lanka. This commission is similar to the BOI. A commission is one that is commonplace within a state institution. It is nothing alien.
මේ රටේ එක ආයතනික ව්‍යුහය තුල තියෙන දෙයක්. ඒ මේක පිටස්තර දෙයක් නෙවෙයි.
Port City එක කියන එක වෙන કોઈ ගාල්ලේ නගරය පාලනය කරන විදිහට පාලනය කරන්න බෑ.
Port City cannot be controlled like the Galle Fort. A separate model is required for it. There are methods where cities in Dubai and Singapore are controlled. A similar model has been applied to this economic zone. It is a flawless model, but if there are any clashes with the constitution, it will be rectified by the Supreme Court. Where do Chinese colonies exist? There are foreign leaders who feel threatened by these, and this backlash is a direct result of that.
කියලා චීන කොලොනියක් වෙනවයි කියලා බොරු හුඹස් බියවල් හදලා මේ සන්තුෂ්ත කරන්න හදන්නේ.
Chief incumbent of the Nugegoda Naladuramaya, Venerable Thiniyavala Palita Thero, filed a fundamental rights petition with the Supreme Court against State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral under the charge of misappropriation of public funds to the tune of 23 billion rupees. Dr. P.B. Jayasundara has also been named as a respondent to the petition.
The Venerable Thero has pointed out in the petition that several incidents of misappropriation of public funds had taken place. These incidents include the payment of rupees 1.31 billion to US lobbyist Imad Zuberi, who is a secret agent of the Central Intelligence Agency, in order to improve the reputation of Sri Lanka in the US in 2014.
$6.5 million දල වශයෙන් ගත්තු
Ajit Niwad Cabral has robbed the Sri Lankan people by giving this to Imad Zuberi of the CIA in the United States. The person named Zuberi who took the money has been imprisoned for 12 years in the US. But the person who gave the money has been nominated to Parliament through the National List and is the Minister of Finance today. But according to the information I have received, under Section 150 of the Constitution, this is a serious crime. Under Section 150, taking funds from the Consolidated Fund is spelled out. Cabral has a very dark past, and we have information regarding many crimes he has committed. He has caused losses to the tune of 10.2 billion rupees according to the hedging deal detailed in the COPE report. In addition to this, from 2005 to 2015, Cabral has also destroyed 10 billion rupees from the central bank's bond issues and 2.1 billion rupees from the Greek bond deals. These are all people's money. Every child in the country today holds a debt of 700,000 rupees. Under the Property Act number 12 of 1982, these payments are completely wrong. I believe 23 billion rupees of the people's money has been destroyed under the purview of Cabral illegally. My only request is, under the charge of misusing public property and public funds, Cabral and P.B. Jayasundara should never be named to any position in the government, and they have to be punished. Necessary legal action needs to be taken to earn back the money of the people. I filed a case in the Supreme Court today requesting the Attorney General to file a criminal case against them in courts. No matter the result, the people of the country will know what happened. I hope the courts will do what's right. I have a lot of faith in the President, and I don't believe that the President will purposely appoint such criminals to high posts such as this if he had any knowledge of their misdeeds.
මම කිසිසේත්ම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැති බවත් මම ඉතාමත්ම ආදරයෙන් සිහිපත් කරන්න ඕන.
State Minister Cabral is the most vociferous when it comes to the port city. He considered that his son has been employed at the port city since 2016. He is also working at the Ministry of Finance as Mr. Cabral's public relations officer. Here are the details. Mr. Chatura Vini Cabral. It is evident that he holds an executive position. We need to remind the government that it is always a handful of people who come forth and speak on behalf of these matters because they are the ones who benefit from those.
කණ්ඩායමක් තමයි අද මේ හැම එක්කෙදිම ඉස්සරහට අවිලා කතා කරන්න ආණ්ඩුවේ ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා ඉන්නේ කියන එක කනගාටුවෙන් වුණත් මේ වෙලාවේ මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ.
The Sri Lanka rupee, which somewhat strengthened against the US dollar over the past few days, weakened one more time today. According to the latest data issued by the central bank, the selling rate of the Sri Lanka rupee against the US dollar is currently at 195 rupees and 21 cents.
The selling rate of $1 exceeded 203 rupees last week. However, the rupee had appreciated to 191 against the dollar by yesterday. Just one channel. So do not panic. I am not concerned over those. The populace knows my plan. Check the value of the rupee today. Ask those who are heckling against it. Ask them for their opinion. Ask them about the rupee instead of the issue regarding the port. Why are they not questioning it now? MP Dr. Harsha De Silva pointed out in Parliament today that the selling rate of the US dollar at commercial banks continues to remain high.
State Minister Ajit Niwad has posted a tweet yesterday. At 3:21 p.m. today, the dollar is selling at 208 rupees at the HNB, 206 rupees at the People's Bank. What is happening right now? How long has it been? How can the rupee collapse by 16 rupees against the dollar within a few hours? They are attempting to misdirect society.
When the rupee appreciated to 191.97 cents, you did not celebrate it. Instead, you condemned it further. I called the CBSL and obtained the rates a few minutes ago. It is 191 rupees and 88 cents. It has appreciated by 8 cents. They cannot fathom it. That happiness only lasted for 20 minutes. The Sri Lankan rupee, which strengthened, stimulated through a $500 million loan from China, is currently depreciating once more. Was a portion of the Chinese loan in question utilized to strengthen the rupee? If so, why was the rupee suddenly strengthened? Was the strengthening carried out for the benefit of a certain importer or a group of importers? Or was the market manipulated to transfer funds from Sri Lanka to a foreign nation? Will the discerning people of Sri Lanka truly enjoy the benefit of the strengthening rupee?
Leader of the opposition raised concerns in Parliament today regarding the steps taken by the government to tackle microfinance issues.
මේ වන විට ශුද්‍ර මූල්‍ය ණය පහසුකම් සපයනු ලබන ආයතන විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක්.
There are many institutions that offer microfinance facilities within the country. Many people who have obtained microfinance facilities have alleged that since these institutions are not regulated adequately, the owners of these institutions are acting according to their own whims and fancies. Although the government has placed a maximum interest rate of 35% for microfinance facilities, some owners of these institutions are charging 100% and at times 220% interest on microfinance loans. Many people in urban areas and villages who have obtained these loans from these institutions are currently facing difficulties in paying these interest rates. Some people have even committed suicide. How many institutions exist in the country that provide microfinance facilities? How many institutions out of these are registered under the central bank? What is the legal ability of these institutions that are not registered to provide microfinance facilities? Is the central bank carrying out supervision on all these institutions? What are the policy-based decisions taken by the government to solve the microfinance crisis within the country? Many parliamentarians were discussing the port city in the media yesterday. However, the government has not provided any solutions for the microfinance crisis in the country. In the same manner, other issues such as the human-elephant conflict that the people are suffering from are not being solved by the government.
අපි දැක්කා විශේෂයෙන්ම ඊයේ දවසේ වරාය නගරයේ පිළිබඳව බුරුතු පිටින් නැති ඇමතිවරු ඇවිල්ලා ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශන දෙනවා මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡා පවත්වනවා ලකුවට කතා කරනවා. නමුත් අද මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ ජන ජීවිතවලට බලපාන මේ ශුද්‍ර මූල්‍ය ණය මර උගුලට කිසිම විසඳුමක් රජය ලබා දීලා නැහැ. වනාලි මිනිස් ගැටුමට කිසිම විසඳුමක් ලබා දීලා නැහැ. ඒ වගේ මිනිසුන්ගේ ජීවිතවලට බලපාන මේවට නිශ්චිත පිළිතුරු ලබා දෙන්න.
මම මෙතනදී කියන්නට අවශ්‍යයි මේ සෑම ප්‍රශ්නයක්ම උග්‍ර වුණේ.
I have to say all these issues aggravated during your rule. However, I will provide solutions for all these issues within the next few days.
A memorandum of understanding was signed between Sri Lanka and Norway to extend the bilateral project in order to improve marine resources with NARA and IMR.
The MOU was signed in Colombo today under the patronage of Minister of Fisheries Douglas Devananda and Norwegian Ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives.
Norway has been a long-term partner in the development activities of Sri Lanka, and today's signing of MOU is another milestone in that direction. Sri Lanka is lucky to get the opportunity to grab the tools and knowledge from all countries like Norway to manage fisheries resources.
We're gathered here today because Norway wants to confirm that we remain committed to the bilateral cooperation on oceans and that we continue to help Sri Lanka to establish a database management of marine resources. We believe that this database will enable Sri Lanka to better monitor its fish stocks in the long term, in the same manner as Norway has and monitors its own fish stocks today. From 2013 to 2019, we have approximately had $2.4 million US that has been distributed to the fisheries sector. Norway will continue to provide technical assistance to fisheries-related research and the development of fisheries management tools. As you're aware, Norway's support to the fisheries sector in Sri Lanka has included the development of a fisheries policy. However, we are now awaiting the approval of the related acts and regulations to ensure that this policy can be fully implemented.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1. On behalf of the News First, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan, along with sign language interpreter Brandy Cruz and producer Tarusha Kumar Singh. You take care and good night.